So when times are bad, is it difficult to keep with your investment strategy? Do you ever have times where you question your conviction with different investments?
I think we always question, and when bad news comes through, as it were, it is a bit of a kick in the stomach. One then just has to take stock and look back and say, well, actually, this approach has worked for me over the years. I don't know of any other method of running an investment portfolio or an ISA than the way I have been doing it. It has paid off for me, and I believe, well, as you indicated, it's paid off for a lot of other people, as it were. It's interesting to hear some of the statistics that you talk about. The ISA, as it stands at the moment, is an incredibly attractive wrapper. I mean, I don't think there's anything like it in the Western world, and foreign friends of mine are very envious. I mean, to have the four advantages of free of income tax, free of capital gains tax, if you're investing in a qualifying AIM share and it held for 2 years, free of inheritance tax, and also the ability to transfer from one partner, deceased partner, to a surviving partner. It's a very, very attractive combination. That's why, of course, millions of people are investing or have invested in ISAs. Long may it last.
That's quite interesting. I've had this conversation with my colleagues about the ISA allowance. Some of my colleagues were saying maybe it should rise in line with inflation. What do you think?
No, well, I think my own view is that now £20,000 for most people, and I hope both husband and wife can put 20,000 in, is I think pretty generous overall. And of course, there are various think tanks and similar who've argued that the whole thing should be capped, as it were, and it's an unfair benefit for the haves as compared with the have-nots. It's not my business to argue the pros and cons of that, but obviously it has been and is a very attractive way of saving, and I do believe we should be encouraging more and more people to save. And I think it's very worrying when one discovers that with young people, for example, more young people speculate in cryptocurrencies than invest in traditional form, and that's why I'm one of those who does campaign for greater education in financial matters in schools and similar.
Do you know what? It's a very good point, because if you get your fingers burnt, then you won't come back to any of it, and you tend to tar the industry with the same brush. And there was I did an interview with a robo advisor platform that will remain nameless, and the went up on YouTube, basically started getting trolled by one particular gentleman who was obviously retired, and he was taking aim at this platform for the terrible funds that they run and the fact that they lost him all of this money. And the truth was, it wasn't anything to do with that. Last year was a very unfortunate year because obviously bonds went down as well as equities. So those who were in target date retirement funds really suffered under that yoke. And I think he was one of these chaps. But of course, because he didn't have that education around, what investing was really, and really what he was getting himself in for, then it left this incredibly negative impression on him, which I'm sure friends and family all heard about it, but not just them. It was then going further into broadcasting it on social media as well. And I think that's the imperative that we have, to educate people, because they won't know the risk that they're getting themselves in for, and then we'll never see them again.
That is absolutely right. And I get very cross, very irritated when investment commentators write about people putting money in cryptocurrency and talk about investing in cryptocurrencies. You're not investing in cryptocurrencies. You're speculating in cryptocurrencies. You're exactly the same as a punter at Cheltenham today. You're certainly not an investor. An investor is someone, I think, like me, who buys into a company, whether it's an individual company or a fund or an investment trust, and holds for a period. That is investing. Putting money in cryptocurrencies or or going to Cheltenham or betting on the Grand National or going to the local casino is something entirely different.
I mean, it's an asset with no fundamentals. It's just
exactly
supply and demand. Yeah,
exactly.
It's funny, like we did research during the pandemic on cryptocurrencies with a view of first-time investors, and around 45% of people who made their first investment made it in a cryptocurrency. So speculation, I would use the word speculation. I completely agree with you, Lawley, and I do actually when I put out comments on cryptocurrency. But they dabbled in cryptocurrency before actually investing, which is just quite shocking in my opinion.
Yes, and then if things go right, you see, they think they've got the Midas touch and put more in. And at the end of the day, wonder what happens when most of it is blown away. I've been an evangelist for the private investor as long as I've been in a position to do so, and we'll continue in that vein. And the more people we can get to invest long term in good British companies, and there are so many of them, the better. And of course, we've been very, very badly let down, in my view, by the total failure of television to cover the stock market and investment opportunities in British companies. It's been a total national failure through a combination, I believe, of excessive regulation and nervousness by producers. And so the whole opportunity to bring all those British companies that you could invest in into people's homes has been lost by a total failure of television to deliver. And I think it's a sad national opportunity lost.
Thank you so much. It's been really fantastic to talk to you. Thank you very much, Myron, as well.
My pleasure.
As always.